Hello and welcome our dear viewers to yet another exciting series of the podcast on elections hosted and convened by the Forum for Women in Democracy. My name is Georgia Tumwesje. I lead the Women and Leadership Program at Forum for Women in Democracy, and I am excited to be your moderator for this episode. The Forum for Women in Democracy is a non-partisan feminist organization that was founded in 1995 during the constitution-making process. We pursue a vision of a just and fair society where women and men equally participate in and benefit from decision-making processes. With me today are the one and only Honorable Tezra Jamwa. She is a Ugandan teacher, politician, represented West Budama, represented Tororo in the 6th Parliament, and is also a founding member of our 30-year-old organization, the Forum for Women in Democracy. Honorable Tezra, you are most welcome to our podcast today.
Thank you very much, moderator.
And I am excited that I have yet another teacher. So today is a show of teachers, which is why it's also about lessons. So they're not just pioneers, but they are teachers as well. With me also is the very first female leader of opposition in the Parliament of Uganda, and also represented the people of Kasese, a woman member of Parliament, had represented them at the District Council as well. Honorable Winnie Chiza, it is great to have you once again on our show.
Nice to be part of this show, and thank you, Georgia.
Okay, we are going to directly jump into the questions. We are here to learn from you, but most importantly to hear about your experiences as you navigated leadership at Parliament. And Honorable Winnie, I'm going to start with you because as leader of opposition, you were able to lead quite a number of political parties who are in the opposition, but also that meant that you had to work with the ruling party. Now, how did women in your parliament, work across political divides successfully to push for the gender agenda, particularly in contexts where party politics can be very limiting? Because we know sometimes the women will have, an action that they want to move along with, and then the ruling party caucus will sit and have a different position. So in what ways were women leaders able to collaborate?
Thank you so much, Georgia. I would like to congratulate Forum for Women in Democracy upon successfully walking a journey of mentoring, nurturing, and participating in democracy, specifically on the side of women for 30 years. It's not a mean achievement, and I would like to thank the Honorable Tezra Jamwa, together with the big team of sisters who sat down and said the women must be at a center of policy making, the women must be at a table where decisions are made. We are the outcome of those efforts. Some of us, at least I proudly say, I'm an outcome of such efforts. And so, Mama, thank you so much. In Parliament, I came in the 8th Parliament, and at the time I came to Parliament, we were practicing multi-party politics for the first time after many years of single-party system. To be precise, I think it was 20 years of single-party system. And there was polarization of political parties. And it's not easy to be a member of the opposition, most especially women. Women face challenges to come into leadership. But it's even worse when you are a woman and on the opposition. But one thing that guided us was that we were women with a common cause. We were guided by the principles of equality and justice. And we knew that being women on affirmative action, together with those women who had been elected on direct seats, we knew that we had a duty of ensuring that the women are heard, the women's issues are heard, and so we united under the Women's Caucus in Parliament. the WOPA, the Uganda Women Parliamentary Association. And we worked closely with the civil society organizations like Forum for Women in Democracy, Women Democracy Network, UN Women, WONET, many of these women organizations like Kina Mama wa Africa. We worked with those women to shape the legislative agenda. And yes, because of this unity, we were able to pass the Domestic Violence Act. We were able to pass the Prohibition of Mutilation, Female Genital Mutilation Act. We were able to pass the National Women's Council Act. We were able to pass the many other women legislative agenda, the Youth Act, the Persons with a Disability Act,
Equal
and
Opportunities
Equal Opportunities Commission Act. So I would say our unity really provided a basis for the legislative agenda that we drew, and our collaboration with the civil society actors was yet another milestone that saw us move across party politics. And because of that, our loyalty at that time was first the women's issues. When it came to the women's issues, our loyalty was to women. While we knew that we were supposed to navigate loyalty within the political party, but when it came to the women issues, our loyalty at that time was the women issues. And we ensured that we carry along the male champions, worked with them, so that our issues can be acceptable across board. We didn't look at our partisan politics. We didn't look at our political parties. We looked at the woman first, and that is what guided us. And in fact, for feminism to thrive, you must have guiding principles. We were guided by the vision of equity, of justice. We were guided by some values and principles that we believed would provide for human rights, a dignified community of women, also participating in leadership, aware that some of the ills in society deter the participation of women from politics. And so we said, of course, building on the foundation that our giants on whose shoulders we stand had put in place, we said we can also make a mark. And that is how we came up with those various pieces of legislation to guide the agenda of the nation, to guide the way women will be treated, to guide the way persons with disability will be treated, to actually put now a form that will breed the affirmative action systematically and move the Equal Opportunities Commission. And we are proud to have been part of that.
Thank you very much, Honorable Winnie. I like that even as you bring to light the successes of working in collaboration. You worked with so many actors beyond Parliament. The women's movement, the media played a key role as well at the time. And also to learn that even in Parliament, you need strong male allies. Because at the end of the day, you need numbers to push forward the gender agenda. And, then that brings us back to you, Honorable Tezra. And in today's challenging political environment, how can women leaders stay focused, on advancing the gender agenda without being distracted or derailed by political pressures and populist trends? We have seen, in the media sometimes the way women are portrayed and so on. But what is that one thing? Because up to now, the women from the 6th Parliament are still much sought after. They still call you honorables. They look for you onto these talk shows. How can women in the parliaments after that also work towards that sort of legacy and, just stay focused on advancing a feminist agenda regardless?
Thank you very much, Georgia, for your question. Let me first refer to the 1995 Constitution regarding governance in this country. We have two types of governance. We operated, or we had leadership under the movement type of political system. That ran for 20 years. Now for Kiza, for her leadership was exercised under multi-party politics, whereas mine I led when we were still under the movement political system. Now I'll start with the making of the 1995 Constitution. Whereas most of us who came to the Constituent Assembly, most of us were baby boomers. Those are people who were born between 1940 and 59. We came and we had different sets of values. We had the integrity that had been instilled in us through institutions like schools, churches, and the family itself. So we were different. We looked different. And what I may say that when we went to the Constituent Assembly, we were women with different backgrounds. There were those who were from UPC, like Honorable Cecilia Ogwal. Others were from DP. We had the Honorable Chams, who was CP. So we were mixed up. But for us, we said as women, in order to achieve what we want in the Constitution itself, we must work as a team. Whether you're from a different party, whether you're from what, all the issues that affect women affect all of us, despite the colors we wear as regards the party we support. So you use the word of staying together. That thing, sisterhood, brought us together as women. And most of us had come from rural areas. Me, I was a secretary for mass mobilization and education in Tororo municipality. We all had different backgrounds, but we said we must be together. We must operate together in order to be able to have these articles, gender-responsive articles, included in the 1995 Constitution. So it was that sisterhood that brought us together. We were united, and we talked with one voice. There were other challenges, but we also needed allies. As the Honorable Kiza said, male champions. We also brought about 75 of them. They became part of us in the Constituent Assembly. That is why we were able to have over 40 gender-responsive articles in the 1995 Constitution. Wow. Now, after the making of that Constitution, that is when we started. We the women who were, we were the Women Caucus. We had a leadership. Our chairperson was Honorable Winnie Byanyima. But then after the making of the Constitution, when it was promulgated on 8th October 1995, we said, what are we going to do with all this wealth of information? We had so much goodwill, both from the government and within the region. And there was what kept us together. There was a very strong political will. The government had just come from the bush, they had captured power. They were set to advance those segments of society who had been left behind in leadership, in governance. So there was a lot of strong goodwill there. So we worked as a team. Then we went, and then another thing which set us apart from the multi-party politics, we went back. Every MP was elected based on individual merit. Yes. We didn't have to use money. Our politics then under the movement was issue-based. We went, and even during campaign, we would go as a team, but they would only draw lots. Who would speak first, who would speak last. So there was goodwill out there.
So joint campaign?
Yes, it was joint campaign.
Yeah.
And then it was left to the voters to pick who was the best.
Yeah.
Because everybody had their own manifesto. You would tell the voters the manifesto. And that is how I think we managed to have the 1996 general elections peacefully. There was no violence. It could have been in isolated cases, but there was no violence. There was that spirit. There was patriotism. But now today, when I look at what is happening in this country, I just feel sorry for the nation. But movement, political system was far different from what we are under now. And I operated within that movement. But what I'm seeing, what is going on, because now people are held, I may use the word at ransom, because you have to tow the party what?
Party line.
A party line.
Yes.
If you don't, so you find women MPs are scared to speak out their minds. Apart from those in opposition, they try, they are the Lone Rangers. But under the movement,
You
bringing
can't go
a
against
women
party.
agenda at the fore and you talk openly about it is a bit difficult.
Yeah, even when women are
Because-
facing violence
yes,
in
they
elections.
die silently. They
Yes.
don't talk about it. They keep singing and chanting,
Yes.
praises and things when they are dying slowly.
We have seen women brutally arrested. We have seen, men and women. Every other day, someone is abducted and picked up. Is that what? Is it now that the multi-party system has failed? Were we just thrown into the multi-party system?
I think, it's good to ask that question.
Yes.
When the multi-party, the campaign for the country to go into multi-partyism came, I was working as RDC in Kavera Maido. There was a referendum which was held, but there wasn't much sensitization or awareness about multipartyism. You would just hear, let's just vote. People, there was no awareness. The women were not sensitized. The youths were not. The men just are the same. So there was no direct sensitization of the population regarding the benefits and the challenges of multi-party system in this country.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, speaking of the multi-party system in which we now continue to haphazardly operate, Honorable Winnie, as leader of opposition and as a member of the minority, because, since we got into the multi-party system, the opposition has continued to be, the minority group, really, and also continuously have to put in place shadow governments. I don't know how the shadow governments effectively operate or if they actually do influence any national policies. But I just want to understand from your experience what it looks like, to continuously practice transformative leadership, as a member of that minority group. And how can we move beyond party loyalty, to focus on value-based leadership or bold and value-driven leadership, especially to advance women's rights. And now you will be speaking, yes, from your experience, but also rallying our sisters from the ruling party. We have some bold ones that are labeled rebels within the party because they're standing on the truth. But, at this point, as you share your experience, you can also give some tips, on how they can be bold, especially if it is in the face of advancing women's rights.
The Honorable Tezra did mention,
Yes.
when we went into multi-party dispensation, I was lucky to be a councillor at that time. And I had been elected under a movement system where it was issue-based political system. I was a councillor, had been elected under individual merit. And actually, like she said, there was no spending of money. But then when we came into popularizing the return to multi-party dispensation, remember, 20 years of President Museveni's government had been spent on demonizing political parties. Everything wrong that had happened to Uganda was kind of related to political parties. Until when a section of citizens said, no, democracy cannot be complete until we usher in a return to political participation and multi-party dispensation. And that is how, in the Constitution of 1995, as it was being amended in 2004, around there, 2004, 2005, now ushered in a multi-party dispensation as they were removing the term limits. When the 1995 Constitution was being made, they provided for safety nets, term limits and age limits.
Yes.
So when the Constitution was being amended in 1994-95, one of the gravest mistakes that were committed to Ugandans was now the removal of term limits. When they removed the term limits to trade it off for multi-party dispensation, it was one of the worst things that happened to this country. However, that was not the only thing that happened. Even preparing the citizenry for a return to multi-party dispensation, like the Honorable Tezra was mentioning, it was rotating around President Museveni. Because I remember we had two sympols. One was the house and the other was the tree. And the campaign that was being done by the RDCs and the leaders at that time was, do you love Museveni? If you love Museveni, yes, if you love Museveni, vote for the tree. Do you want peace? If you want peace, vote for the tree. If you,
and nothing to do with
no,
multipartyism.
nothing was being talked about in return to multipartyism, and actually the society was not prepared as to what we should expect under a multi-party dispensation. And I can say it was because of this that maybe even when we were being ushered into multi-party dispensation, people did not get so much interested in changing certain articles of the Constitution to provide for a systematic transfer from single-party system to a multi-party dispensation. Because how on earth would you, under a multi-party dispensation, would you have left a constitutional provision saying the president, who is of a different political party, but still a participant in elections, being the same president, to elect, I mean to nominate members of an electoral commission?
Exactly.
Because under multi-party dispensation, there should have been another mechanism that is put in place to elect members or to scrutinize members of the electoral commission. This is a player in an electoral commission, in an electoral system. He is a participant, his party is participating, but he's now the one nominating the referees. Such aspects of the Constitution should have been changed as we were transiting into a multi-party dispensation. Now, coming back to the question that you asked, that how could you, people in the opposition, and you as the leader of the opposition, could have navigated your way through, maybe with the dignity and ensuring that you continue with transformative feminist leadership. Challenging oppressive systems and dismantling individuals who don't care about humanity is not an easy task. And like I said at the beginning, that being in opposition and as women is not an easy task. It would call upon, it would require women who are intentional, women who are ready to be rebels, to ensure that they unite their voices with the voices of those women in the opposition, so that the issues of women are heard. And I can tell you we had those women who said we would rather be called rebels as long as justice, equality, and well-being of human beings is served. We have them, and they paid a price. But I also would like to call upon our women leaders, most especially those on the ruling party, including those in the opposition who have remained silent about the issues of women, and yet they pretend to be representing women, that this is the time for us to reconsider our actions. It takes courage to stand for the issues that you believe in. Anyway, the other disadvantage that now loyalty to party politics brought in is the issue of, if you are not towing the party line, we are not giving you the flag. And possibly that women must also buy votes to become leaders. So those who don't have the votes will run to some men to finance the campaigns. And he who pays the piper calls the tune. So those who have been financing the women will want their agenda to be heard first before the agenda of that should have been the women's agenda.
The political
and
godfathers.
So, yes, the political godfathers have become a problem to us fielding the agenda of women and to ensure that women actually look at the women's agenda as their core. But we are also, we heard from Honorable Tezra Jamwa when she said we came in as women of integrity, we came in guided by principles, we came in with values, and we were inspired by these women. They acted as our role models.
Yes.
But currently, we are sort of role models, most especially in the women's movement. Women who enter into politics. Each one of them will tell you, I know how I came into leadership.
Oh, yes.
And because I know how I came,
Yes.
I'm not answerable to anyone.
I'm not accountable
I'm not
to the
accountable
women's
to the
movement.
women's movement.
Yes.
I'm only accountable to those who give me the votes.
Yes.
That is why you find that even women have learnt the bad manners of saying, I will go to the electorates when it is time for a vote, and I will buy them.
Oh,
Because
yes.
our people also
Yeah.
have been black-minded. They have not been made aware of what they should expect from their members of parliament.
So the context continues to
The
change. The
context
people do not know their
continue to
social
change.
contract.
The people don't know
social
their
contract
social
between
contract.
their
They
leaders
don't
and
know what
themselves.
they should expect from their leaders, because civic education has been narrowing down every other day.
Yeah.
It started from when we were ushering in multi-party dispensation.
Yeah.
Civic education was narrow. People
Yes.
entered into a system that they did not know.
Yes.
Even leaders could not be alert
Yes.
to the ills that would come with the multi-party dispensation.
Yeah.
I think they still thought Museveni was good, and they took him for his goodness. The system had not they had not thought that they will bring in army men to torture citizens during elections. There was no aspect of drones coming in to pick political actors. They had not suspected that there will be money.
Yeah.
And so they said the system can remain as it is. Women will, now that we have provided for women, they will play from a safe ground, because it will be women against women.
Thank you.
But I can tell you that it has not been an easy task for women to navigate.
Yes.
It hasn't been an easy task for women in the opposition to navigate, to the extent that they are even denied to celebrate Women Days.
We have seen some.
Yes,
you know,
women had to
police shutting
demonstrate.
down.
Police has disorganized women organizing Women Days. And this is a day where women are supposed to give accountability to their electorates and to celebrate the achievements that women have gained throughout the time.
Okay.
So it's not easy for the women, and we continue to pray that the women will still have some sense of integrity, they will have some sense of accountability, and they will have some sense of values that they will throw out there for the young ones to emulate.
Thank you very much, Honorable Winian, for calling on, regardless of the party, for women to be bold and value-driven and be labeled a rebel as long as you are working for the greater good. And you talked about the reduction in civic education and civic awareness. Before I joined high school, there were, subjects like political education and civics in high school that talked about, your citizen as your rights and your responsibilities in nation building and governance. But, so it starts with the removal of eye-opening and insightful subjects like those that then the populace is the way it is now. The context is as they want it to be. Okay, thank you very much. Our dear viewers, at this point, I'm going to request that, we go in for a very short break, and we will be back shortly.
For 30 years, Forum for Women in Democracy has been at the forefront of championing women's leadership in Uganda. We have strengthened the capacities of over 30,000 women leaders to navigate the political landscape and elevate the impact of their leadership. Now, we are excited to bring you a groundbreaking initiative, the Leadership Digital Resource Hub, an innovative platform designed to empower women candidates. Are you a woman aspiring for political leadership, or do you know someone who is? The Leadership Digital Hub is for you. Inside the Leadership Hub, you will find practical guides on Uganda's electoral process, eligibility criteria for different positions women can contest for, nomination procedures and timelines, frequently asked questions on leadership development and campaign management. And that's not all. The Leadership Hub is your one-stop center providing a variety of e-resources that you can access and download. Explore our resources on overcoming challenges faced by women in politics, building a winning campaign, creating a campaign manifesto, balancing family responsibilities and politics, and so much more. Go to the Forward website and visit the Leadership Digital Hub today. Share the link with a sister, a colleague, or a friend. Together, let us build a society where every woman has the knowledge, support, and access to opportunities to lead.
Welcome back from that very short break. In studio with me is still Honorable Tezra Jamwa and Honorable Winnie Chiza, our pioneers who are sharing some key lessons from their life experiences, from their lived journey in the political landscape. Is the way it is now, the context is as they want it to be. Now, Honorable Tezra, I will go back to you very quickly.
Okay.
We have seen so many media reports and, some women saying, oh, I lost my marriage as a result of leadership. But we think that that is also the patriarchy trying to put in place a particular narrative to derail women from the public sector. But, the Sixth Parliament, again, we keep going back to you. And we just want to understand how you manage to navigate the complex, the balance between your role in the public sector and also how you are able to balance it out. I know it is impossible to balance,
yes,
but how you are just able
To navigate.
to navigate that process as a leader, powerful leader at that and very vocal, but also, in your personal and family responsibilities. So how are you able to...
Right.
Yeah.
So actually, all our learning started when we were in the Constituent Assembly.
Yes.
The majority of us, they're the ones who constituted the Sixth Parliament. At least nearly 80% of the Constituent Assembly delegates made the Sixth Parliament, and we were only 296 MPs. Now, all this goes back to, what can I say? Getting training. We were trained because most of us, as I said earlier on, came from different backgrounds. We didn't know what to do, but we had goodwill out there. We had, first of all, our chairperson. She was very influential in the diplomatic community. That was Honorable Winnie Byanyima. So we had trainings being organized by organizations like you said. We had other embassies, foreign embassies like the Norwegian one. All those were training us, molding us to become into transformative leaders, and we captured that. Those are the values and the experiences that helped us to work so well in the Sixth Parliament. Now, because I told you earlier on, 80% of us who are in the Constituent Assembly constituted the Sixth Parliament, so we protected the Constitution jealously. At least when we wrote it, we said, let's give it at least 10 years to see how it operates in this environment in Uganda. But unfortunately, before the 10 years, when for us, some of us were thrown out of the elections, we never came back. Majority of us actually, three-quarters lost. We never, but we don't know whether it was intentional or something, but we never came back. So then, the Seventh Parliament, they were the first to touch that constitution.
Yeah.
And the moment that term limit was touched, to me, the constitution died, if I may use that word. And I don't want to say much about that. But for us as women, because normally we have private life,
Yes.
we have public life. You're a public figure, you're a wife, you have children, you have what. But as a leader, you have to learn to prioritize certain activities, certain responsibilities, because you have to balance being a housewife, being with your family, doing government work as well. So you need to prioritize to see what should I do first, what is most important. And then also, when you have women, for us who came, who were mature, who were about late 30s, 40s, we had already had our families, and even our spouses were with us, were saying, you go and do government work.
Okay.
At least for me, Amos, my late husband, really supported me, and I didn't have any issues. And also depends on the character of a woman MP. We work with the men. Why should somebody come and start touching you? You touch me as what? Is that what brought you to parliament? You can ask somebody. If it is about money, we get the same amount of salary. So how much is that person a man going to give you? But now, because now again we have people with the different backgrounds, they're young, they're still raising families. It becomes overwhelming to their spouses to stay with the family when they're working into the night, late. You know, when you have a spouse who does not appreciate what you're doing, you know, the men become so insecure. They become insecure about the women because the women have become so powerful. So it is also wrong for a woman MP to say, I'm now powerful, I can leave my husband and do whatever I want. It is not right. You will never manage the private life and public life. You need to balance.
Okay. And, you know, as we come to, I am sorry, our time is fast spent, but I know that we could spend a whole day learning from the pioneers and all these interesting, you know, conversations. But in closing, I'm just going to invite each one of you just a minute, you know, to give us parting shots, and then we will close this segment. So I will start with you, and then
I think for us, because now we have to be very sympathetic with the women leaders in parliament specifically. So I would call upon intergenerational mentoring. If they can look out to senior women like us, when they've just entered parliament, we can sit with them and give them guidance. So mentorship should be continuous, and they should also be out there looking for us. But sometimes they also become very suspicious when you approach them to help them. They think of how you want to take money from them or something. For us, we are volunteers. We are out there. We want good for everybody, every leader. And we want to promote transformative leadership, both for men and women in this country.
Okay, thank you. And
I think as we conclude this segment, I would like to encourage our sisters not to shy away from learning. Learning is a process. Being elected a member of parliament does not mean that you know everything. One of the things that helped us to navigate the terrain within parliament was to accept that we don't know everything, and so we have to continuously seek for information. And that is how we brought civil society, media on board to give us information that we didn't have. Many of us are not knowledgeable on legislation processes. So we had to ensure that we are in close collaboration with the civil society organizations, and they would do briefing. They will unpack these bills, take us through the drills, take us through the concerns that affect women, and then whenever we would go to the house to deliberate, we have done research. We have been helped by civil society organizations to do research. But also, Honorable Tezra talked about the issue of values. You can't give what you don't have. Leaders that are picked because they are loyal to certain big people.
Tokenism.
Yeah, they are loyal to certain big people within political parties, and they have no values and principles, will come to the house and they will basically focus their mind on where do I get what is due to me. So I would like to also call upon our voters to look out for value-driven leaders, value-based leaders. Whether they have the money or not, please trust them with responsibility. That is when you can get accountable and responsible leaders. But a situation where you say the highest bidder will be the one to take it, you will continue to receive leaders that will look at you only at a time of elections because they know how much you are worth.
Yes.
They know that they will bring 5,000
Yes.
and you vote them because that's what they have given you. I was so saddened to see what happened in the elections of NRM, the SEC elections.
Yes.
It was about money. It was highest bidder, take it all.
Yes.
A member would say you would be sleeping there, then they call you. Members were running on border borders.
Yes.
So and so is calling me, we are going to receive. Mitwala Satu. 300,000, 500,000. Then this one is coming in with 50 million. This one is coming in with goodies.
Yes.
It was all about who has brought what.
Yes.
But if you are a values-based leader, how do you move from one spot to another, from one candidate to the other, and you are receiving money, and yet you know that you have only one vote?
Yes.
You will vote for only one leader.
Yes.
That is what we are talking about.
Yes.
Look out for value-driven leaders because you can't give what you don't have. And we also have to encourage our partners that we work with, civil society organizations.
Yes.
Look out for the women who have been in leadership that fail.
Yes.
Majority of whom have vast experience. There are these women whom you really see they are working hard to change the narrative. They are working hard to dismantle patriarchy. They are working hard to dismantle the systems and challenge power. And nobody reaches out to them. They feel lonely. You relegate them to just the caregiving work at home. They feel like they are tired. Nobody can hire them. And yes, villagers will start saying they are expired. So if there can be the the intergenerational mentorship that the Honorable Tezra is talking about, that would be a welcome idea. In other developed democracies,
Yes.
when you leave parliament, you are a consultant.
I know.
You are a consultant. But here, you leave parliament, the new lot comes in, you are forgotten.
Yeah.
So look out for these well-intentioned and transformative leaders. Make use of them.
Okay.
And I would request that when the new members are called upon, the new leaders, show up and get some training.
Okay. Okay. So, show up and get
Show
some
up
training,
and get some
capacity
training.
enhancement.
Yes.
Never stops learning, never stops. When organizations call you for trainings, do not ask how much is transport
I
fund.
know.
If you do care about the electorate and if you do understand the social contract that you have. Thank you very much, our pioneers and our dear honorables, for the very insightful lessons. It's been an honor and a privilege to host you. Our dear viewers, thank you for watching once again. My name is Georgia Tumwesje. I lead the Women and Leadership Program at the Forum for Women in Democracy. It's been such a pleasure and an honor to host this segment and this episode. Please do watch out for more episode series in the podcasts on elections from the Forum for Women in Democracy. Thank you very much. Bye.